And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
Jabron.
Ooh, the parlay pounder.
You got it.
And now we got to talk week 0. College football
Week
is
0
kicking off.
It's here.
And there's some pretty good games here, pretty good matchups.
Yeah, especially a couple blue blood, football teams here. So yeah.
Well, let's start with the big one, the one overseas that we kind of have a sour taste in our mouth from, as far as being a Nebraska fan there. Yeah. Northwestern got the better of Nebraska last year. Across the pond this year, Navy and Notre Dame are squaring off. Yeah. I believe it's in the same stadium, the whole same setup there. Yeah. And it's going to be a tough matchup here for Navy. You know, they are heavy dogs. Let me look at the latest one.
20.5.
That's what I'm looking at, 20.5 with a point total at 50.5. What are your initial thoughts, your initial thoughts on this game? This is really going to be Sam Hartman's coming out party. Yeah. For the second time in 3 years, Notre Dame went to the transfer portal to get a quarterback. Where have I heard that before? Yeah. And Hartman did have a pretty nice career
for sure
at Wake Forest. Now he's going to really try and step it up.
Yeah. Get in the limelight. All that kind of stuff. He's on the pedestal now. He's trying to fill in the spaces that were left by the past Notre Dame quarterbacks. But yeah, this Sam Hartman had over 13,000 yards at Wake Forest, Andy. So this guy is going to come in. He's going to be slinging it. Mm-hmm. The receiving core is young, but it's also very talented. Mm-hmm. They just got rid of their huge playmaker Michael Mayer at tight end, but they got Jaden Thompson, who could be a massive playmaker for the Fighting Irish, along with Tobias Merriweather. Look for those two to dominate in the passing game. The other thing across the ball here, Andy, is that Navy went 4-4 last year in conference. Yeah, they fired their coach. This is their new coaches. First game that he's
defensive coordinator too.
Yeah, first time he's ever coached ever. Their quarterback has been hurt all off season. He missed spring ball. I just don't see a lot happening for this Navy team in this game. I really think this 20.5 is an easy pick for the Fighting Irish. Yeah. I think they're going to blow them out. I don't know about that over sitting there at 49, though. I would almost suspect they have to score that much if they're going to cover this line.
Yeah, if Navy's going to be in the game, and I agree, I don't think they're going to be in the game. Yeah. That's the only way they could catch that over there at 50.5. Brian Newberry is their new coach, as you mentioned. He was last year's defensive coordinator, and he hired a really good offensive coordinator in Grant Chestnut. Came over from Kennesaw State. Yep. And they had one of the top offenses the last 5-6 years in FCS, that division. Yeah. That's all fine and dandy. But this is a whole other animal here, the Notre Dame defense. And this is my big reason why I'm probably going to be staying away from more overs than I usually do. And I'm always kind of skeptical anyhow. But for the first time since 1967, the game clock will continue to run when teams make a first down rather than stopping until the chains get set. It's just like the NFL.
Is that a new rule across all college football?
College football, yes. Wow. So just think about that. You're going to have a running clock. Yeah. And Navy, they're known for that triple option. Yeah. Well, this new offensive coordinator, Chestnut, he likes to run that spread offense. Yeah. And he ran it at a high level there. But still, I think with the defensive coordinator being the head coach, he wants to play control ball, wants to limit Notre Dame's possessions. Yeah. And I think once Notre Dame gets up by 3 scores, they're going to want to run out the clock as well.
No doubt.
This new rule is going to help them do that. So I'm going to steer clear of that 50.5 over as well.
Yeah, and Andy, like I said, I really like the Notre Dame 20.5. I think they win by 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I think they get to cruise and all that kind of stuff. And like you said, this new offensive coordinator, he's saying that he's not going to change that triple option up, but that he's going to throw wrinkles into it. So, I just think Navy's outmatched here. Yeah. The secondary for Navy has a lot of veterans, but that doesn't mean they'll be good. This group was awful last year in the secondary, and despite having more experience, I think Hartman is having his coming out party with Notre Dame, put himself up for that Heisman race right quick.
And they're going to want to get Hartman a good start,
of course.
And this is probably a good matchup.
This is the way to do it.
For them to do that. Should we move on to our second game of the slate?
Let's do it.
The Ohio Bobcats, the former Fighting Frankie Soliches, are heading on out to San Diego to play San Diego State, where they are a 3-point dog with a 49 total.
Yeah, Andy. And I think this line is right where it needs to be because I think these are similar teams, Andy, really stack up against each other. San Diego State, we don't know if they can contend in the Mountain West or not, but last season they finished 114th in total offense. Yikes. And 108th in scoring offense. But this quarterback there, Jalen Mayden, cemented himself as a starter after beginning the season at safety. He was a defensive player at safety. Then they converted him to the quarterback. Okay. The Aztecs went from averaging 14 points per game and 200 yards in their first 4 games to when he starting to 23 points a game and 366 yards in their final 8 games. So there is some positive momentum to carry into the season. Mayden back with this offensive coordinator. So I really think that San Diego State is going to be able to push the ball down the field, and I really think Ohio is going to be able to play, and get the ball in the end zone as well. So I like the over 49 as my best bet for this game, no matter which way you're leaning on it.
And I think this line opened up at 2.5, and it's already moved up to 3 to favor the home team here. So maybe everyone's kind of looking at some of those offensive statistics that you kind of dove into for San Diego State, and that's why you're starting to see that line kind of favor the home team. Yeah, and that total is going to keep moving up as well.
Exactly,
it usually does.
If you can get it at 49 or under 50 right now, definitely do it. I think this goes way over that margin. If I had to lean away, I'm leaning towards San Diego State, but I love Ohio's team as well. I love that MAC action.
All right, should we move on down the list to our third game of the slate here?
The big one.
Another San Jose State traveling to L.A. to the Coliseum to take on USC, and they are a 30-point dog, 64.5 total.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the way it is with some of these matchups. USC really trying to make a name for themselves as a top contender this year. Yep. Caleb Williams, obviously, Heisman Trophy winner. Yeah. They got the big head coach, the big name, all that kind of stuff. Yep. The over 66 points is really crazy to me, Andy. I do not believe that this is attainable. But once you say that, that's probably when it happens. Yeah. If I had to lean away on this, I am leaning San Jose State way at the plus 30.5.
Really?
That's just way too many points to cover, especially in week 1 when you're testing new stuff out against your cupcake game and all that kind of stuff. I just really believe that that's way too many points to cover, especially in week 1. And once they get up by 3 or 4 touchdowns, they are not going to want Caleb Williams in the game anyways. Yeah. So I really I really like the under. And if I had to lean away, I would lean towards San Jose State.
Yeah, and I've heard a few different writers and podcasters say kind of mimic what you were saying there. Yeah. And there's good reason for that, but you're not.
You're not out of the water. Yeah, you're not out of the water.
Not at all, because USC likes to pile on the points, and even when they do pull Williams out, because I think he'll have a short game as well. Yeah. Might not even play in the fourth quarter. You don't know how it's going to play itself out. Yeah. But even then, they could still put up 50 points. So now you're looking at, can San Jose State score 2 touchdowns? Can they get me there? Now, you said your line was at 66?
66 with the over-under.
I opened this up this morning. The book I was looking at was at 64.5, so that tells you.
Going up.
It's moving up in a hurry there. Do you have any sleepers or dogs or any angles other than just the usual spread and total that you're looking at here?
I mean, you can go into, Caleb Williams overs and all that kind of stuff, but I really would bet everything under on him just because I don't know how much he's going to play in this game. This is almost shaping up to me like an NFL preseason game, Andy. And
it kind of is.
It kind of is, but I wouldn't touch any of that stuff, especially if you're thinking it goes over. I'm sorry to say that, but he already has his Heisman. I don't think they're going to push. I mean, obviously they're going to push for him to have it again, but that's not on their mind right now. Yeah. What's on their mind is to be national relevancy and win a national championship is what they're going to try and do before they make their big splash into the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think you're right, and keep everybody healthy. I think that's the number one goal, and like you said, that's kind of a preseason game mentality right there, and Lincoln Riley knows how to do this in his first walk through the park, stroll through the park.
Exactly, and I will give you a little bit to back up my bet of San Jose State to cover the 30.5. Okay. Last year, their biggest defeat, USC, was 43-27 against San Diego State last season. So they do score points, but it seems like they give up some points as well. So I really don't think that the defense has got any, dramatically better, and I would put San Jose State and San Diego State in that same realm of possibility that they can score points against them, and especially in the later quarters.
Yeah, you're thinking of like a 38-42 type of score for USC, and then maybe a couple touchdowns from San Jose State.
I'm saying if San Jose State gets 20 points in this game, it covers no matter what.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
And now you're flirting with the over. But you can also just fade that. You don't have to touch it.
No, you don't have to.
This is week 0, folks. We got an entire college football season.
Well, I'm just saying that
us.
game that we're talking about last season when they played San Diego State, it was 43-27, and that still doesn't cover this over/under. Isn't that nuts?
That's crazy. Yeah. Yep. And I get it with your Heisman hopeful, Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He's the front runner right now as far as Heisman odds are concerned.
He is.
They're going to get him his stats, but that still doesn't mean that they're going to total go over 66 points.
No doubt. I would much rather make them prove that they can score 66 points together than bet that over and be hoping for it.
Hey, we got about 45 seconds here.
Yeah.
Real quick, Hawaii at Vanderbelt. Last year, it was about a 20-point spread. Vanderbilt had to go out to Hawaii. Everyone was saying, the Rainbow Warriors are going to cover that. They did not.
They did not.
Even close. They got blown out of the water. This year, it's at a 17.5 with a total of 55. I don't know why, but I think Hawaii can cover.
Yeah,
the revenge factor.
The revenge factor.
I think they're playing for more because of the fires and everything. And, our thoughts and prayers are out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Out there, everybody from Hawaii. But I feel like the Warriors are playing for something here, and the revenge factor's on their mind. And Vanderbilt's also thinking, we blew these guys out of the water last year.
Yeah, no, I think Vanderbilt going to come in very underwhelming. And, if the Rainbow Warriors can, get a couple scores early, they got a chance in this one. So, especially to cover. So, I like them to cover. I don't know about that win, though.
Yeah, I'm not saying win. I'm just saying cover. Come on, guys.
Rainbow Warriors, let's go.
17.5, let's do it. Serve the SEC. I mean, they'll still win.
They'll still win.
But just not by 17.5. Come
let's
on
go.
now. Hey, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com, all one word, to get your wild game on. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL.